All right, in this training, we're going to talk about something that's probably one of the most important things if you're getting started and you're trying to figure out, okay, I understand the idea, the concept that I'm supposed to be creating content. And that's going to help add value to my audience. It's going to create goodwill because I've given them value for free. I haven't asked for anything. But what if I don't feel worthy? What if I don't feel smart enough? What if I don't feel like I'm an expert? Who am I to be sharing content? Who am I to be telling people what I think they should be doing to help them get a result if I'm just getting started and maybe I don't even have the result? I understand, and that's kind of like imposter syndrome. You kind of don't feel like you're maybe worthy to be giving advice. I get it. So this is going to be an extremely helpful training for you, and it's on how to broker and facilitate other expert content so that you don't have to feel the pressure of whether it's created in your mind or whether it's maybe real pressure of other people, saying, how dare you try to share content? Who are you? Which you're going to always get a little bit of hate from people. You need to learn to disregard that. And this is one of the best ways to get started. I wish I did this sooner. And so hopefully this is me passing down some wisdom to you. This one's going to be quick. This is going to be easy. You've maybe heard me talk about versions of this. So I just want to spotlight just this subject for you. And that is summarizing best-selling books. I've got 1,000 books upstairs. I've got another 100 over here. I love reading books because it allows me to get knowledge from other experts and get years, maybe decades of their wisdom and experience condensed down into chapters. Pretty amazing when you think about it. Somebody could take 20 years of experience and condense it into a book. That's amazing. So here's the best part. If you're trying to be good in this industry, we teach industry, target audience, and your niche. So if you know the industry you're trying to be in, I'm going to keep it as just an example. Health and wellness, copywriting, sales. Who knows? Whatever you're trying to get into. What's the industry? Are you trying to help people with their health and wellness? Are you trying to help them with copywriting or marketing? I'm going to just use those as examples because those are easy. So let's say that it's health and wellness. So if you're trying to get into health and wellness and you want to build your personal brand, or maybe you already have knowledge in the area, maybe you already have products and services in the health and wellness space. Here's how you can start to create content. Now you can obviously create your own content as an expert, but this is going to supplement your content. Even I do this, and I am an expert who's made millions and millions and still makes millions and millions of dollars all the time, and I still use this even as an expert. So don't think, I don't need to listen to this. Trust me, whether you're a beginner or you are an expert, this is still a phenomenal thing that you should be doing. So here's what it is. You go and buy the top 5 or 10 best-selling books. So think in your head, I already know them because I'm in the industry and I already read the books, hopefully. If you haven't though, go on Amazon. Go on whatever your favorite place to get books is. Could be audiobooks, could be written books, could be digital books. I don't care. Go get the book and buy the top 5 or 10 best-selling books in your industry. New York Times bestsellers, Amazon bestsellers, I don't even care. It doesn't have to be a bestseller by the label. Just go and look. Does it have 100 reviews, 500 reviews, 2,000 reviews? If it does, probably one of the top books in your industry. And you should pretty much know in the health and wellness industry, there's 5 or 10 super well-known experts, super well-known celebrities and influencers within any industry or niche. So identify what those books are. And then we're going to say, here's the books. Every chapter, every book, in my experience, having read close to 1,000 books in my life, I would say every book has about 30 chapters. Could we agree? Every book has 20 chapters, 30 chapters. Some really big books have 40 chapters or more. But we'll say that the average book has about 30 chapters. And so if I just put 30 on this, because you bought the top 5 or 10 best-selling books, I don't know what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 30 is 210. So now you have 210 chapters of best-selling books that you know people like the content because it has hundreds, maybe even thousands of 5-star reviews or great reviews. You know it's one of the industry's well-known books in your space, that's going to be good chapters of content. You don't have to think, well, what does my audience want? You know if it's in the book, people like the content. Every book has 30 chapters. We'll just say, here's 7 best-selling books. You have 210 chapters. Every chapter of the book is now a blog article that you can create. Every chapter of the book is now a YouTube video, a Facebook video, an Instagram video. So there's 210 pieces of content for you to film. Guess what? You're only a couple more books away from having a video and a blog article every single day. So if you're like, how do I come up with content every day for the year? Go and buy 5 or 10 books, make every chapter a blog article and a video. And some of those chapters could be a YouTube video that's 10 or 15 minutes long, and then you could chop that up into little 1-minute videos, 2-minute videos. So potentially, you're not at 210 chapters that are turned into pieces of content. You could potentially have 400 or 500 pieces of content that are chopped up and repurposed from this. So right off the bat, you've just got your entire 6 months to 12 months of content that's proven to be what people want, and all you do is read the chapter and create a blog article and a video off of it. You're done. And then I do obviously recommend that you give credit where it's due, and at the end of the blog article or at the end or middle of the YouTube video or Facebook video, you can just simply say, and those are 3 tips from Tony Robbins where he talks about blank. And those are the 7 musts that everybody needs to do if you're trying to lose weight. And that's in this book, blah, blah, blah. And then you can get an affiliate link on Amazon and then plug back the book. So if anybody buys the book, you get commission. Pretty cool, right? So now you're creating expert content that people want. You're brokering and facilitating another person's content, an expert, and you're sharing it. Because look, let's be honest. Most people who write books, not always, but most people are authors because they don't want to be on camera. Most people who are writers don't want to be in the public spotlight. Does that make sense? Most authors are introverts. They want to sit back and write. They don't want to talk to people. That's a speaker. And so, not always, but most authors, and I think 10 or 11 of my friends are New York Times bestsellers. 10 or 11 of my close friends are New York Times bestsellers. And some of them are very introverted and they write books for that reason, but they still want to help impact people through their knowledge. Other people that I know are New York Times bestsellers and they're professional speakers and thought leaders. They wrote a book because it's part of the formula and it's a really important thing to do to get your knowledge out there and position you as an expert. But here's the thing. A lot of the times these experts, they have a book, they personally, if you do have a book, you better be doing this with your book. But most authors who have books, if you go to their Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or their website, they themselves don't even have this in place for themselves. They don't have a video on every chapter. They don't have a blog on every chapter that links back to the book. It's genius. When I work with a lot of these best-selling authors, this is one of the first things I tell them to do to get more sales to their book. Do you have a YouTube video, a Facebook video, an Instagram video, a blog article on every chapter of the book that links back to the book? And they go, oh my gosh, it's so genius. Yeah. And for you and I, if you're just starting out and you're not an expert, go and take proven content, broker and facilitate it. Find other expert content, summarize it, and share it. Because the average person doesn't even read 1 book a year. The average person doesn't even read 1 book a year. So when you go out and summarize all of these books, you're taking knowledge that could potentially get them 1 step closer to a better outcome, a better result, avoiding pain or gaining pleasure, to summarize it. You're helping people take 1 step towards a better outcome, a better life, a better business, better health, whatever it is that you're doing, summarizing these books on. They're not going to read the book. So for you to summarize this and put it on social media, trust me, you're doing the author a favor by giving them credit and basically promoting them for free and sending traffic back to their book. And you're helping an audience of people who may never have read that book and miss out on that information. And so by doing this, you have a responsibility to actually step up and start sharing more of this type of content by brokering and facilitating content. And the next thing, obviously, I'm a huge advocate, go and interview the expert. The person whose book you bought, if you reach out to them, and we have this in one of our other trainings called OPM. It's OPM versus, or maybe it's OPM and OPA. Leverage other people's money and other people's authority through interviews. So you can go and watch that training. We have other trainings about interviews, how to get interviews, how to do interviews. So in summary, go and interview the authors. Reach out to the authors and say, hey, I'd love to interview you and talk about your book. I've been summarizing lots of the content. People are loving it. And I asked my audience, would you like me to interview the author of this book? And they all said yes. So I'm actually going to spend my money to promote the interview and get 100,000 people to see it or more. Would you love to come on my show and I'll interview you about your book? They're of course going to say yes. If you get the timing and the attention right, when is the timing important for them, especially during a book launch, and when is the amount of attention you're providing them value? If you want to learn more, just go find the training tab OPM and OPA, and you'll learn a lot more about how to do this. And then you can co-create content. Find other people that are creating content and collaborate. You can go and find another person who's in your industry, who's building up their brand or already well-known, and you guys can create content together. That could be on a digital Zoom call, Skype call, or any other streaming platform. You can go live on Facebook or Instagram together and patch each other on the call if you've ever seen that. Or you could, like right now, I'm filming with lights, camera, whiteboard, team. It's like they could be standing right here and we could be doing hot potato and I could teach a little and then they could teach a little and I could teach a little. So co-create content with other people. So it kind of takes away the pressure of it all being on you, and now it's you and someone else. Because I know a lot of people who are really smart, but when it comes to just turning on the camera and teaching, they struggle a little bit. They would rather have somebody ask them questions. They would rather have another individual to kind of, bounce off of each other, so to speak. And so maybe that's you, maybe you can relate. And maybe that's how you need to warm up to get really good until you feel like you're the expert who can just turn on the camera and start teaching. It takes practice. And so one of the best things for you to do when getting started is just take all the pressure off. You don't have to be the expert. You don't need to be the expert, especially if you're not. It takes time. And let people feel like they can trust you because you're not trying to pretend to be something you're not. You're just somebody who's saying, look, I'm going to be the messenger. I'm going to go and read all the best books and summarize them for you and tell you what I think works and what doesn't. Sometimes they have these documentaries or these shows where somebody says, I'm going to go and take top 5 health and wellness programs, or I'm going to go and attend all these seminars. I'm going to see what works and what doesn't from a real, regular person's perspective. And I'm only going to bring back to you my personal experience of what I think works, what I think is BS, and what I think can help you get closer to your results. I'm not an expert, but I'm going to go through all these experts' programs and books, and I'm going to bring back to you what I think works from my experience as a regular person. I hope you like that. There's too many other fake gurus and experts and people out there. You actually have a better advantage showing up online and saying what I just said, which is I'm going to go out there as a regular person, consume all this information and content, apply it in my life, tell you what I think is good and what's not, take it for what it is. And that's all you're doing. You're brokering and facilitating other people's stuff who say that they're the experts. I'll be the judge from my own experience, and you can follow my journey, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it gets you a little bit closer to the results that you want, which are the same results that I want. But it's hard to vet what's real and what's not these days, so I'll take all the arrows in my back, and I'll tell you what I think is good. And if you enjoy that, subscribe, follow me, and join the journey, right? And so how cool is that? You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that sounds even better than trying to pretend like I'm an expert or a guru. Of course it is, because people want to follow real people. And so just be a real person who goes out and follows other experts' content and then brings it back and shares it and then interviews experts and then co-create with other people in your space. Pretty simple formula. Hope you enjoy this training, and I hope that it helps you get a little bit closer to understanding how you can start to use content to build your personal brand without the stress and pressure of feeling like you have to be an expert. As always, any questions, post them in the Facebook group, or I'll see you on the next weekly call.